Good morning or afternoon. Let me make sure that I am live. How are you guys doing this morning or afternoon? Well, I guess technically it's afternoon for all of us here because there I am. I'm live. So for us in Central Standard Time, it is 12. And for Eastern Standard Time, it's 1. And then my followers and viewers in California, good morning to you guys because it is still morning. Guys, I am super hyped right now. Let me go ahead and share my video so that we are all on here. Let me create this watch party. Say good morning. Say hey, y'all, as you come in. All right. I want to know who all in here. Give me one moment. Guys, let me tell y'all, it has been a week. I'm going to say that. It has been a week. And I am super excited that we are at the end of it, ready for this weekend, as if we out here about to do a lot of stuff. I'm not, because it's COVID, so I got some work to do in my own business. But guys, I am super, super excited for this show today. Today, we're going to be talking about something that a lot of us struggle with, have struggled with in the past, are struggling with now. We're going to talk about perfectionism. All right. So that's what we're going to talk about today. If you see me looking down, I am looking at my phone because I have some notes on my phone so I can make sure I hit everything I need to talk to y'all about. Okay. So today we do not have a guest. It's just going to be me. And for the people who are new to Behind the Highlight Reel show, let me explain to you guys what it is. And good morning, good afternoon. Say hey in the comments. Let me know you here. What's up, y'all? All right, so for people who don't know, Behind the Highlight Reels is a show where we're going to talk about everything. Everything goes on this show, but the purpose is to be very transparent, naturally transparent, and 1,000% real. Like even more than 100%, 1,000% real. The reason that I created this show, and in all actuality, and we're going to talk about that later on, why it took so long for me to create this show, but in all actuality, the reason I created this show is because so many times on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, we see everybody's highlight reel, the beautiful part of what's going on. We see the actual end goal, what's going on, but we don't see what's behind the highlight reels. And I think it's truly important to see what's behind the highlight reels, because behind those highlight reels are where lessons are learned, are where transparency happens, where we learn, and where we actually get a chance to have testimonies to help other people through what they're going through. So I think it's important for us to share what happens behind the highlight reels so that people can get the lesson and get the testimonials and understand, hey, what they're going through isn't new. Because sometimes we go through stuff, y'all, and it be like so far-fetched in our mind. You think you're the only one going through it. And if people would just be more transparent and honest about what happens behind those highlight reels, you will see that you are not the only one. It's a whole bunch of us going through the same stuff. So y'all, that's the purpose of Behind the Highlight Reels. For all the new people, good morning, everyone. I see a couple of people watching on my watch party, and then I see some people watching on my page. Now, if you're on my watch party, let me tell you guys something. Y'all gonna want to go to my page and make sure that you are following my page, so that if one day I may not decide to do a watch party, Facebook may want to act stupid. Y'all know how technology is, but you get to get the information about my guests, my shows, and everything that I'm doing on the page. You'll get it first on the page before you get it on my page. So if you haven't, people on my watch party, if you haven't, go ahead and hit up my Tharissa M page and make sure you subscribe, follow, so you can get all the information. So today we are talking about perfectionism. A lot of people, including myself, have called myself or called ourselves perfectionists. So what does that mean to be a perfectionist? Y'all know I looked up the definition. So we're going to look up this good old definition from Prophet Google. And I'm just going to tell y'all what the specific, real quick definition of perfectionism is: refusal to accept any standard short of perfection. All right. So I don't know about y'all, but I believe in the power of our words, and I got some good stories to show y'all or to tell y'all about how the power of my words have worked for me, but have also worked against me. And I have been ignorant in the things that I was doing, sometimes using my words. But as I've gotten older, I've learned how to harness the power of the words. So when I say that I'm a perfectionism, or no, that I'm a perfectionist, sometimes I had to think about that. Like, I need to stop saying that, because there is no standard that is perfect unless I am saying I'm only going to accept Jesus. So if I'm saying I'm a perfectionist, then that means I'm refusing to accept anything less than perfect. And that means that nothing else in my life can be accepted then, not even myself. I can't even accept myself. And that's not a happy life, because the only thing that you will be able to accept is Jesus, because guess what? He is the only one that is perfect. So if I say in the same sentence that my goal is to be happy, I want to live a happy life, but then also say that I'm a perfectionist, that does not match up. They contradict each other. And so therefore, I can't have a happy life and be a perfectionist at the same time. But what I can say, let's talk about how to rewrite our words. What I can say is, hey, I have high expectations of all areas in my life. So therefore, I like things to be as close to perfect or as close to my expectation as possible, right? So that's how I'm choosing in my own personal life to speak that which can actually happen, so that I can actually be happy. Because if we all are very honest with ourselves, being a perfectionist does not get those happy moments from ourselves. So I want to go ahead and put that out there first. Now, I also wanted to give you guys this, read y'all some of these things. Where'd it go? 10 signs that you may be a perfectionist. And I thought, after looking at this, I thought this was so awesome to talk about on the show today, because some people don't even realize that they are perfectionists. They don't, because they don't call themselves a perfectionist. They just out here living life thinking, oh, I got high expectations, but ain't nobody meeting them. Okay, so let me share with y'all these 10 traits that will say, maybe you are a perfectionist. Okay. You have an all or nothing thinking. Now, first of all, before I even get into this, let me just say this. Just because you may meet some of these traits, or some of the things that I'm talking about may be part of your characteristics, they ain't always bad, okay? So what the issue is in being a perfectionist is when you are constantly saying, I don't want anything less than perfect. So there's nothing, like, for example, all or nothing thinking. There are times when there should be all of nothing thinking. Either you're going to get all of me as I am, or you ain't getting none of me as I am. So there are times when, like, to be honest, these traits and these characteristics are what we need to be like. But when you are like this all the time, this is where problems happen. So all or nothing thinking, is that you for every single situation in your life? You like either all of it or nothing? Then let's rethink what we're doing. If you're highly critical of everything, I don't know, who is that? Highly critical of everything, then that may mean that you got a little issue, right? If you're pushed by fear, and if you know me, I talk about fear all the time, a lot of times, and how to fix it, how to fire it. I even have a master course that's coming up, another session of it in August that we'll talk about later, about firing fear. But if fear is what drives you, fear, then that's not a good thing, right? Unrealistic standards. So there's a difference between having unrealistic standards and having a dreamer's mindset. Okay, so when I say unrealistic standards, I'm saying when you sitting here and you like, okay, I don't want, let's just say for a man, I don't want no man unless he making $1 million every hour. Now, if you say that and you out here, you never go out nowhere, you never do anything, you stay in the house, maybe you just do video games all day, and you don't put yourself in environments where you could meet somebody. I ain't saying that, maybe somebody out here making $1 million an hour, but if you don't even put yourself in that environment to meet those type of people, how is that a standard of yours? That's unrealistic. That's what I'm talking about. So unrealistic standards, um focused on results. Now, this is not a bad thing to be focused on results, because that's how you know when things are working. But if you're so focused on results that you can't see the testimonies, the lessons, when I say you are obsessed with winning everything, that when you fail, you feel like life should end right now, and now you out here on suicide watch, that's when there's an issue. When you're that focused on the results that we everybody's tiptoeing around your feelings because they know you about to flip if somebody says anything negative, or if it looks like you may not be winning in every single area, right? Depressed by unmet goals, and here we go, on suicide watch because you didn't meet your sales goal for the month, or you didn't get to do something. I think it's important to feel, let your emotions happen. I think it's important to feel, but being in an area where you about to kill yourself and jump off a bridge every single time you didn't get a participation trophy, or every single time that somebody said no, that's not good. We talked about fear of failure, procrastination. If you know me, you know we talked about procrastination so much. Procrastination usually comes from some type of fear, and that's why we're taking all day to do the things that we need to do. Defensiveness, who is that? How many people is defensive all the time? Every time somebody do something, you offended, and now you feel like you got to defend yourself. And ain't nobody even say nothing to you. Low self-esteem, those are all characteristic traits of someone who is a perfectionist, just for people who don't know, right? So let's go to the next part. All right, I said that there are gifts and curse with perfectionism. Okay, let me yeah, I just started drinking tea. Well, I've been drinking tea, but I just started drinking it for real and putting honey in my tea, local honey, because I'm trying to get my allergies together. Why ain't nobody tell me this a long time ago? I've been missing out on the local honey. I love honey now in my tea. So, okay, so gifts and curse of perfectionism. Okay, so there is, in my mind, one gift of being a perfectionist, and that's just that you have high expectations. But there's a caveat to that gift, because it makes it to where you don't settle, you don't put up with BS, and that's a good thing. But I would like to say, take that gift and mold it with the rest of your lives and some other tips and tricks, and don't allow that to be everything to you. Like I said earlier, when all you saying is you only going to take perfect, you're not going to be happy. You're not going to be able to have people in your life, because people going to get sick of trying to live up to some unrealistic standards of perfect that they know that they'll never be. You're going to get sick of yourself trying to live up to unrealistic expectations, right? But let's talk about the curse. The curse is what we see more than a gift, right? Because the curses of perfectionism actually outweigh that one little piece of gift that we can even like slightly call a gift, right? So the curse makes, when you are a perfectionist, you don't have a lot of friends, because your expectations of friendship is so high. And and let me just be transparent for me, even when I say, well, my expectations of a friend is so high because I meet those expectations for my friends. I drop everything when they call. I listen to their foolishness all the time. And sometimes I don't even say nothing. Sometimes I let them vent. I give them advice, even though the advice ain't something they want to hear. I think I'm a perfect friend. And then we get with a friend who don't do all of those things at all times, and then we like, see, that's why they ain't my friend. That's why I can't use the word friend all the time. And don't get it wrong, like, don't get it twisted. A friendship is give and take on both ends, but when your expectation is so high that it's so unrealistic for anybody to meet, you're gonna have no friends. None. Not at all. Right? So we want to make sure that we are understanding that it gets lonely being a perfectionist. And when it's lonely, we were not created to be alone. We were created to be with people, to be in unity and to socialize. It gets depressing when you're lonely. And I will tell you that just from COVID, I lived by myself and COVID happened and I was like, I can't stay here for no weeks. Like, and months. I didn't know it was gonna be months, but yeah, weeks at the time by myself. And I went and got a dog. And I fostered her, and it was just, we fostered at the beginning. Let me help her out because, the foster homes and adoption agencies were struggling because they were only donations and blah blah blah. And lo and behold, I kept her because I absolutely love her. She don't talk back. She tries to, my dog. She tries to talk back, but it helps me from being lonely and depressed. And if I would have not had another soul, I guess, I don't know, do animals have souls? I don't know. That's a whole nother thing. But if I wouldn't have had another person or thing here, that a live thing, then I would have been lonely. So just think about that feeling, like being a perfectionist, where people can come into your life and can come, but they don't want to because they don't want to deal with you, and you don't want them near because they're lower than perfect. I can never, ever imagine my life without people in it. How depressed would I be? That's why I can't go to jail. I can't go to no mental institution. I got to be around people. All right. So a lot of people say, well, how do I deal with the perfectionism? Like, how do I stop being a perfectionist, but how do I not settle? Like, I know for me, when it came to me trying to change my lifestyle from being a perfectionist, I was like, but I don't want to settle. I don't want to settle. I had to take a deep thought or deep thinking. I had to take some time to do some deep thinking. That's what I'm trying to say. So I had to take some time to do some deep thinking and ask myself, what does it mean to settle? What is it that I'm afraid that if I don't seek out perfect, what is it that I'm feeling like I may get? What is it that I'm feeling constitutes settling? What does it mean in these different areas? And what I realized is I would say I didn't want to settle, but that came out of a fear. What was that fear? So, for example, we're going to talk about relationships because that's the easiest thing to talk about. That's something that we all can relate to. So, when it comes to relationships, I was like, I need to look for the perfect man, like, because I don't want to settle and I don't have time. I feel like I'm perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like they got to be perfect to be with this. First of all, to handle all of this, they need to be real close to Jesus, like right there on the fingertip. They best friends with Jesus. But I felt like they needed to be perfect. And what I realized, like, why? What was my fear in that? I was looking at other people's relationships and marriages and seeing some of them ending in divorce, some of them arguing all the time, some of them even in abusive relationships. And I was like, I don't want that. That's what I don't want. And what I had to realize was I'm not settling if I lower my expectations to a realistic point. That's not settling at all. So when I am creating my expectations, because that's really where the issue comes, is how are you creating your expectations? When I'm creating my expectations, what am I using? When I create expectations, what are these things? I just realized how ashy I was, but whatever. What are the things that I'm saying I will not compromise on? Okay, so that's how you start creating expectations. What are the things that I won't? What are the things that I will not compromise on? And what are the things that I'm like, maybe. You know what I'm saying? And y'all, as you get older, I don't know if y'all know, but as you get older, those, like when I was young, I had this whole list of things that I wanted in my man, my strong black chocolate man. Those are things that I knew that I wanted, right? And as I got older, the list got a little shorter. Some of the things that I was like, he had to have, like, for example, he had to have a six pack. I mean, because I ain't got no six pack. Somebody in this relationship got to have a six pack. And even when I was smaller, y'all, I still didn't have a six pack, but I ain't had no stomach, but I ain't had no six pack either. But I was like, somebody got to have a six pack in this relationship. I got my little two packs. He need to have six. We need to have a collection, right? And now as I got older, I'm like, well, maybe he ain't got to have a six pack, but dang Lord, I just can't have just everything out there because I don't like to be uncomfortable. Like, I'm trying to do some things, especially if you like me, like I'm trying to be celibate out here in these streets. Oh, sorry, not celibate, abstinent out here in these streets. So, when I get married, I'm trying to do some things. We got some things to do, and you got to be flexible and be able to move. And so I need them to be, right. But then I'm like, does it really matter how many packs he got? Because what if I say six pack and he got an eight pack? And I'm like, oh Lord, they don't meet the qualifications. So I'm like, I just want to be healthy. Can he be healthy? Let's start with that. So as I said, as I got older, those lists went. And even if we're talking, I mentioned celibacy, right? So this is just side note story about perfectionism and the power of our words. So for years, I was celibate for 7 years, right? At one point. And for years I was saying celibate. And that's why I'm saying celibate now. So I was like, yeah, I'm celibate, telling everybody I'm celibate. So this one girl asked me, she was like, hey, what's the difference between celibate and abstinence? So me thinking I'm smart, I was like, well, celibacy means that you've had sex, but you're not having sex no more until marriage. And abstinence means you ain't never had sex at all. And she was like, where did you get that definition? And I thought about it and I was like, dang it, I don't even know. I just been saying it for so long. I don't know who told me that's what that meant. Like, that's real. I don't know who told me that's what it meant. So I looked up the definition of celibate. Y'all, I was out here speaking over my life celibacy. And celibacy means that you are not just abstaining from sex, but you're abstaining from marriage. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. So I had to change my whole thinking. I'm not trying to abstain from marriage. I'm trying to get married. Like, that's not what I meant. So I think that is so funny in my life. Like I tell that story to people so much because I'm like, how many times were we so ignorant to just take somebody at their word without vetting them? You know? And I think tying it into perfectionism, I think that right. So I'm looking at comments too. So I think that growing up, we hear people complain about settling. We hear people talk about their perfectionism or they are a perfectionist. We hear so many things and we just take what they say and start using the language that they're using and doing the things that they're doing and adopting their mindset, not even realizing like they were saying stuff ignorantly because they didn't even know what they was talking about because they probably copied somebody else. And so all in all, y'all watch watch your words, but also watch how you are creating your expectations. You ain't got to copy what everybody else did or whatever, but create your own expectation. Let me get back on track. All right. So what was I talking about? I think ways to be delivered from perfectionism. Whatever. So, okay, I'm telling y'all. So for me, this is even just an example. Before, when I was a perfectionist, I would have cut the broadcast and we would have started over because I messed up. And or I probably wouldn't have did the live at all. I would have actually, and this is my transparent moment, that's what took me so long to start this series of Behind the Highlight Reels, is because I was like, if I record it, do y'all know how long it takes to record something and edit it? Edit out all the edit out all the stuff you made up, edit out all the mistakes, all the when you say a word that you didn't really mean to say, all that type of stuff, all the stuff when the dog start barking, somebody knocking the door, that take a long time. So like you may have wanted to make a 30-minute video and it take you days to finish it. So I was like, Lord, it got to be perfect. So I can't start the series. And the Lord had to send some signs to me to say, no, start now. Like, ain't nobody asked you to be perfect. Start. Because if you're starting at perfect, where is there to go? There's nowhere to improve because you're already perfect. Ain't nobody got nothing to look forward to in the future, right? So that's where we are with that. So back to what I was saying. Ways to be delivered from perfectionism. All right. So the first way is understand that you are not Jesus and no one else is either. Jesus is the only person who is perfect, the only person. And so when you give Jesus expectations to humans, you always end up disappointed and short. And we're not going to do that. All right, so once you get that through your mind, it makes it a little bit easier to move with your expectations, to start writing those expectations more correctly. And I said write because I truly believe you're supposed to write stuff down. The Bible say write the vision and make it plain, not think the vision in your mind and keep it there. All right, so second one, be grateful for everything. Y'all, gratitude will pull you out of, I feel like gratitude will pull you out of every state. And so when I say be grateful for everything, I mean everything. Your mistakes, your obstacles, your frustrations, your discoveries. Just be grateful, because I like to think of it like this. The Lord didn't have to give you that opportunity. He didn't have to give you the blessing that he gave you, or he didn't have to give you the obstacle that he gave you. He didn't have to give you the lesson that he gave you. He could have just took you off the face of the earth and been like, well, I'm bored, I'm done, and be done with it. But he's giving you these opportunities to learn and grow as a better person for yourself, but also as a closer daughter or son to him. He's giving you these opportunities to know him more. Like, I remember when I moved down here in Alabama, I had this moment for some months. I was like in this state of depression, horrible depression. Like, I've never been so dark in my life. And y'all know that's hard because I'm an optimistic person. I'm a mindset management coach. Like, how could I be depressed? And even that thought was something that was helping to keep my depression, because I felt like I had to be perfect. I had to put on a facade because I'm an optimistic person and I preach optimism, and I preach about how your mind can change everything, and if you just think good then things will happen. How could I, as that person, be depressed? And that just kept recycling and recycling, and then all this other stuff that was going on in my life. I was in this dark place. I was like, woe is me. Lord has abandoned me. Lord, where art thou? And in that dark place, I realized when they say a light in the darkness, what that means. I was able to truly understand what it means for Jesus to be that light and for you to walk in the shadow of death. I was able to know God in a different way. And I thank God for that opportunity. Was it a great time for me? Heck no. Like, I was out here like, Lord, if suicide wasn't so wrong and such a bad thing, I would have took myself out. But I had to realize, like, God didn't have to give me that opportunity, but He did. And that opportunity wasn't for me to dwell on everything that was happening that was wrong. The opportunity was for me to know God as my strength, know Him as my light in that darkness, know Him as when I don't feel like praying, when I can't pray because I can't even open my mouth to say something. When I was mad at God, let's just be honest. When I was mad and I was like, God, I don't even want to talk to you. Like, I don't even want to deal with you right now because I feel like you did something to me. You should have helped me. That's how I was feeling. And the audacity of me to even think that of Him. But He still gave me grace. He still helped me and pulled me out and still became who He is to me. So I was able to know God in a different way. And I thank God for that opportunity. So y'all got to understand, be grateful for everything. Everything. The next thing is to forgive and give yourself grace. Because guess what? You're not Jesus. So you're not going to be perfect. So when you mess up, forgive yourself. Forgive others for messing up. Forgive people that you think shouldn't have messed up because they know better. Forgive them too. Because you also got to think everybody don't have the same mindset as you. So when you think things are so messed up, they probably think things was okay. Or even when you think that you so offended, their intentions may not have been that way. Yeah, I get in trouble so many times because my intentions were one way, but because of the tone of my voice, because I'm one of those type of people that's straight to the point, let me ask you this question. And even though sometimes I may ask multiple questions because I can't figure out the question that I'm really trying to ask or how to ask the question I'm really trying to ask, people get offended. People get upset because they feel like I'm doing something to them. So forgive yourself. Give yourself grace. And then look at your mistakes, as we said, as a learning opportunity. What could this be? Is this a test? Is this an opportunity for you to pass? Is it an opportunity for you to fail? What could you be learning from it? What could be your testimony at the end of it? Everything that happened to me, y'all, you can ask people to know me. I'm like, I'm putting this in the book. This gonna go in the book. People piss me off. This going in the book. People act the fool. This going in the book. I don't know when the book gonna come or how long the book gonna be, but it's all going in the book. And whether it's a physical book that I'm writing or the book in my mind, all of these lessons, all of these things are things that I'm going to come back on and learn from, right? So if you can't take the time to try to learn throughout that space, then what are you doing it for? It's just going to be happening and then you're going to get into that woe it's me stance. You got to learn. All right? And then learn to laugh. Like, everything in life ain't so serious. Like, learn to laugh. It's okay. If I fall, I'm going to laugh. I'm be embarrassed, but I'm going to laugh because it's funny. Like, especially if I fall thinking I'm cute, hopefully I'm break nothing, but learn to laugh. Like, don't have to be so offended all the time. Just learn to laugh. Laughter can make you feel so much greater. And then at the end of the day, you have to understand your goals. You have to understand the end goal. So we're all running a race, right? So while we're all running this race, we have to understand where we're running to. When you understand where you're running to, those smaller steps in between here and there will be a little bit easier to give certain expectations to. It'll be a little bit easier to think of the lessons learned because you don't have to be perfect at this time because you see that you're going so far. It'll just be a little bit easier for you to create smaller goals and learn from those goals, whether you win or lose. You know what I'm saying? So get your goal in mind, the end goal. Where are you running to? Make those smaller goals. And even if it's just one of the goals is to relax your standards a little bit. Of course, don't relax your standards on things that shouldn't be relaxed. Like, I want a man who knows Jesus. I'm not gonna relax that standard. I can't do nothing other than that. But I can relax my standard on if he got a six pack or not. I can't relax my standard on if he making money, but I can relax my standard on if he got a head full of hair. You know what I'm saying? So learn to just have fun in life. Learn to just forgive and enjoy the moment. And I'm talking to myself when I say that. Just enjoy the moment. Everything ain't gotta be so serious. Everything ain't gotta be perfect. Everything, I mean, you live, you learn, you grow, you get better. So just learn to live in the moment. All right. So that's the truth of being a perfectionist, y'all. And I see that some people on the comments were saying, okay, you will miss out on a good thing when you try to look for perfectionism or for perfection. See, I can't even say the darn word no more. When you try to look for perfection, Lisa, you are totally right. You'll miss out. Like, people grow, things grow. Because let me tell you something. If you're looking to get perfect, especially the first time, all the time, you never get nowhere. Never get nowhere. All right, so guys, if you have any questions, I know I see you guys have been commenting. For some reason, I don't see your comments over here on the screen, but I'm looking on my screen. And I will go, and y'all know me, I will answer the comments. I will answer your questions. I've seen some people in my inbox. I will talk to you guys as soon as I get off. But just y'all try, first of all, to stop speaking that perfectionism over your life. But try to just change your ways one step at a time. You ain't got to be perfect, even in stopping to be a perfectionist, but just take one step at a time. So say today, when I record my video, if I mess up, I'm gonna just leave it there. It's okay. I ain't gotta be perfect. Or today, like for example, for me, I straightened my hair yesterday, and I wanted to cut it. I just started cutting. And y'all, I'm not a professional. I'm not a professional. And I just started cutting. Then I started getting sleepy. So who knows what I cut? Stuff all uneven. But this morning when I unwrapped it, I thought it was gonna be beautiful. It was not. And so I had to start over. And so what I did was, when I went in flat iron to try to do my little pin curls and stuff, and I took them out, it just didn't come out the way I thought. And I was like, you know what? We're going to do this. We're going to wrap this around the ear. We're going to keep it moving. Go put a little pin in here, because some when I say it's uneven, some stuff is long, some stuff is short. But I was like, learn to love the perfection of the imperfection, right? It's okay. One step at a time. Hey, it got flat ironed. It got done. Some of them straggly ends got off, and I bet you it's gonna grow better. Even if it's imperfect, even if it's imperfect, it will be perfect. Okay. So, guys, I pray that you have a phenomenal day today. I pray that the rest of your day is so imperfect that it is perfect for you. All right. And remember, you make your day how you want it to be. So choose to make it phenomenal. Guys, I will see you guys later.